Howdy everybody, hope everyone's doing well. So we are now almost in the month of May of 2025, so I'm putting a timestamp on this one. We're the 25th of April. Hurricane season, June 1st. Now for those of you who live in Montana, not a big deal, but for everyone pretty much south of like Oklahoma and Texas, yeah, that's a big deal. Texas, Louisiana, Florida, Mississippi, Alabama. But also up the coast, right? The Carolinas, Virginia, even Oklahoma and Tennessee will get the after effects of storms that come in. The other coastal states will get hit directly. Now's a great time to be ready for hurricanes. And hurricanes are really why I got into preparedness. Now, I was always kind of a pseudo prepper. Like, if I made road trips when I lived upstate New York, I had my emergency bag, MREs, the whole nine thing. I was a Boy Scout, right? You know, be prepared and all that. But it wasn't until I moved to hurricane country that I really started appreciating, wow, because now it wasn't just me, right? I could live on ramen and pizza and warm beer for weeks, right? But you got kids and a wife and family and elders and whatever else is in your house, and you're like, well, no, not so much, right? You have to have a little bit more of a plan. So that's how I started. Honestly, that's originally how I became a preparedness. Really went into the prepping community. A few things to think about. The fundamentals are the same, regardless of whether you go to you're in a hurricane, a flood, tornado, chupacabras, etc. The fundamentals are the same. Having shelf-stable food, canned at home, you know, mason jar canning and commercial canning, a way to cook using propane stoves, camping stoves, open fires, having a fire pit or something like it, or being able to make a ground fire and then cook over it. Food, shelf-stable food, having water, having necessary hand tools for repairs of your home. That's something a lot of people don't think about. Having alternate power supplies like a generator, like a jack or an EcoFlow, I think the other one, Topis, what the guys talk about. Any of those things are positive things that apply to so many different scenarios. A good first aid kit, having 90 days worth of meds, if your insurance or you can afford it, or your insurance will cover it. You know, if you have blood pressure meds or cholesterol meds, whatever it is you may need, typically maintenance meds can be purchased in 30, 60, 90, and sometimes even 120-day allotments. That's always a good thing to have, because in an emergency, the worst case, you can kind of split pills. It would be less of the dosage, but it would help you last longer. And also keep in mind, usually you can order the new set about 30 days before the old batch runs out. So you have this overlap time where you can say, wow, you know, I have 90 days of meds, you know, I'm covered. One of the problems is people don't think of this stuff until something's happening. And then once it happens, they hoard toilet paper and they do other dumb shit because they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do because they haven't thought about it. And the fact that all of us think about this, all of us are watching what's going on, means we're a little bit ahead of the game. At the end of the day, preparedness is about having options and having a heads up, right? Now, there are still things that can catch us broadside, right? There's stuff that happens, and more mundane stuff, car accidents, getting laid off from your job, you know, somebody gets arrested for whatever. You know, there are little SHTFs that happen to families and people individually that can really cause a problem, and then you have to dig into the preps, and there's no shame. That's a perfectly valid reason to dig into your preps, is being laid off, getting your hours cut. You know, there's a myriad of reasons, but the fundamentals are the same. Whether you're in hurricane country, blizzard country, or you're just worried about the damn apocalypse, even if you're in an apartment in a city, you know, Manhattan, Chicago, Houston, where you have so many people around you, the fundamentals: have enough water to get by for a period of time, whatever you can find space for and budget for. having the foods, flashlights, first aid kits, a way to defend yourself, whether it's a firearm or whether it's a baseball bat or pepper spray, having amenities and food for your pets, right? A lot of people don't think of that. Oh, well, you know, I have food for my family. What am I going to feed the dogs, right? Being able to have those things as best as you can stockpiled is important. And as I've mentioned before, some of your most important resources, your energy, your money, your time, and space. A lot of people, we don't think about the space to do what we want to do. I don't have enough space to do what I want to do, so I have to get creative with what I have, and hence why I figured the investment of the commercial grade shelving in my garage was worth the money, both from the family perspective and from the preparedness perspective, because I can stack more stuff, I can organize it, I can be able to see it, I am not worried about weight, I'm not worried about things spilling on the floor. So those four things, right? Your time, your money, your energy, and your space are four really valuable resources, and those should dictate, and they may wind up dictating, how you prep as far as your basics, your food, your meds, etc., etc. So keep those things in mind. Don't panic. Now's a great time as any. Start shopping around. There are a lot of great generic first aid kits that you can buy and build your own, right? I've seen someone actually take one of those Rubbermaid Tupperwares. I guess it's the shoebox size one. It's a rectangle about this big, and they bought a commercial first aid kit, right? They bought one off the shelf, and they organized it by Ziplocs in there, and then they went and added to it to where they made a pretty decent first aid kit. It's in a Tupperware. Is it classy? No, it's ugly as shit, but it works, it's functional, they know where it is, and it's come in handy time to time. That's perfectly valid. When you have these channels come up and say, well, if you don't spend $1,000 on this, you're gonna die, that's an idiot. Don't listen to that person. More than likely, there's someone who, like someone we all know, owns a store and they're trying to push their business by frightening people. I'm not that motivated. That's not my motivation for doing this. I just feel that the more other people are prepared, the less people I have to worry about if something gets sideways. In any case, folks, y'all be safe, be careful. Remember, hurricane season's a month away. Now's as good a time as any to get those basics down. And most importantly, don't forget that those fundamentals, those basics, and he was not patient, those basics apply to so many different scenarios. So think in those terms before you go and spend a bunch of money on stuff that's only for one purpose. You guys be good, be safe out there. I'll see you on the next video.